Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the cave. So, we're gonna set off a nuclear missile by getting 3 keys, and this is what the scientist's storyline is, and she kinda snuck into this whole section. So, I kinda don't know why specifically.
Missile-based security compromised.
Like, her story doesn't really make a lot of sense if we look at her cave paintings. Whereas the adventure story totally makes sense. The hillbillies make sense. This scientist apparently did some research and was highly rewarded, and she got a bunch of offers, and I guess maybe somebody stole her her data.
Don't touch that console.
I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this.
Stay out.
Like, it doesn't seem like you have enough time.
Insert warhead to commence launch.
And I don't want to go down the elevator again, so I'm gonna run here one last time. Maybe there's a trick here where we decide to get it to shoot, and then it can only go like a certain direction, and then as it's going backwards, and it kills the guy. Alright. Launch key 1. And we're not getting out of here until we launch, so we might as well do it. But with 3 keys, that probably means
they're not doing what it looks like they're doing, are they?
So here's an administrator's terminal.
Core memory diagnostic is complete.
What's over here? A HVAC control switch. So now it's going the other direction. She apparently can't do anything with the administrator's terminal with her hacking ability. Instead, we just hit the X and it just shows us a bunch of codes, passcodes. So what I'm gonna do is take the kids with the hot dog and I'm gonna put them over in that section in case we need to look at the codes again. Then down we go on the elevator. Oh, we have to hack the elevator console first. I thought that was just a computer they used to control the laser. It's a little weird that it does 2 things.
Priority alert. When the toilet paper roll is empty, please replace it with a new one.
Alright, so over here,
Stop, or I'll shoot.
this
One
guy
more
is
step, and I'll
sucking in the oxygen, but it sucking in the oxygen didn't seem to really change anything. So we probably have to do more, like send out some kind of poison gas. Seems like we can just hack this and load the warhead.
Intruder, stay away from the console.
Alright. And so we're gonna have to get rid of the lab tech.
Upper hatch disengaged.
Without knowing the backstory here, this really feels way more malicious and just deadly at the beginning, and it totally makes sense that the scientist is effectively the last character before the monk. Because, let's see, is there anything here that we'll probably need to know? We'll probably need to know the lunch menu to compare to the code. And here's an arcade machine.
Would you like to hear a song?
She apparently can maybe interact with the arcade machine. We saw an arcade machine in the future. That's kind of all it did, though. Let's see. So now we have a hot dog that maybe we're supposed to drop over here and suck in the smell to convince the guy to leave. Probably shouldn't do anything more until I test that out. And we already had a hot dog. Alright. So back to this.
Attention. Tomorrow is Bring Your Kid to Work Day.
Is the hot dog now getting its scent up there? I'm not sure if it is or not. It might be a temporary situation where
Missile-based security compromised.
hit this again and then see what that does. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it does anything. So there must be more to the puzzle. Trying to rush here as fast as we can, just because
Warning.
we
Overflow in
have we been
depth
over here?
calculation register A3.
We've got to push something over here, I guess, later. But yeah, we want to kind of wrap this up. There's a dead body under the stairs, so we could start the next game.
Insert guidance system to commence launch.
So here's the code entry, and they're doing something that we haven't done in any other part of the game. Succumbing to greed. We still don't really know how succumbing to greed turns into the setting off a nuclear bomb. And I guess you kind of don't want to end the cave. You want to leave it open for a sequel, so obviously we're not going to be able to blow up the cave. Now there's an achievement here for slipping. So if you walk there, you'll slip. And then the adventurer, deadly dynamite, seems to have booby-trapped her friends quite a bit. And then here's a fruit bowl, and then just kind of a dead end otherwise. So now we have an apple.
Global target acquisition phase complete.
Alright. You don't die from the apple from slipping. But I don't know what the wet floor sign would really teach you either.
Intruder detected.
We do have a slip danger listed there, so maybe I'm supposed to just put this down. And well, it makes you slip. Interesting.
No, don't load the warhead.
Warhead installed.
So that's very cartoony, and the game really hasn't been that cartoony before at this point, so that's a little weird, I guess. I don't know how you else would describe that.
Missile coolant stable at -14 Celsius.
So that's key 2.
They can't know what they're really about to do here.
There's still some other things we have to do, though. So we gotta do something with the apple, obviously, and we have to do something with the guy. So it was steak and fries.
Danger.
So
Security safeguards have been overridden.
I guess I need to applaud that the game isn't setting off alarms too much. That could be really annoying, particularly for a puzzle game. We need to know what day is steak and fries, which means we need to go up one level to figure out what the code is. I've heard of a daily color to get on bases. I haven't heard it's Monday, according to that. And one would hope that that randomizes and it's not just always Monday and always the same number. But yeah, a simplistic daily color and passphrase probably is a lot better than a combination lock that's a number. So it's 6396, which means we're gonna have to hit this quite a few times. And if you overshot it, you'd be in trouble. Holding X, by the way, does not move it forward, so you just do have to tap it. And it's pretty obvious why they didn't do this more than once.
Code accepted. The door is now open.
So now we have some knockout gas, which makes a lot more sense than the apple or the hot dog as a item. And yeah, I think the arcade machine is probably just a
intruder detected.
And that knocked me out but didn't kill me. Yeah, I think the arcade machine is really just a leftover remnant from some other idea that they were thinking about doing. So it'd be interesting if you could get all three of the, like if you could get all three of the characters to hold a hold on to the to a different wiener from a different section. That would be interesting, but we already did that with the femur, so it would be more interesting if there's just an achievement specifically for having all three characters hold the same item. I don't even know if that really happens. It might be I had already gotten that achievement. I didn't look at the achievements I got, I just looked at the ones that were left, and they were all pretty out there. Okay.
Computer core memory diagnostic is complete.
So that seems like it's sucking in. Yep, that looks like that's sucking in. Okay, now we have an empty canister, which we might as well pick up.
Slippery when wet.
And then we have this guy. And here's a monkey. I think we need to put the monkey in. We have to convince the monkey to chase us down this direction.
Missile thrusters idle at 14%.
Because we can't turn the keys until the monkey is in the satellite in the middle.
Now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. Yeah, I read that somewhere. Seems appropriate.
Yep. Let's run the kids this direction.
Coolant stable at -14
And
Celsius.
let's have the scientists go ahead and pick this up. Take the can of corn. I don't think we actually ran past the section that had the can of corn. The second piece. And this is now just a section of the game that
Slippery when wet.
now we have a green apple. Or a pear. It's actually a pear. I don't know why you would animate so many different things. You don't need that level of variety in the game. Every other point and click adventure game would have been a lot more streamlined, and that's what I kind of have to compare this to. You could try to say it's its own,
Security safeguards have been overridden.
that it's like its own thing. It doesn't like that. Alright. See if you like this. No. So it doesn't want a pear. It probably wants a banana. Come to think of it. So I probably have to
Insert guidance system to
go
commence launch.
back down and get a banana. So besides just wasting our time by having us potentially walk backwards and forwards in this, yep, bananas, several times, they're wasting your time by making us walk long hallways,
Upper hatch
climb
disengaged at
long
T-minus
ladders.
27.
I don't know why you wouldn't streamline all this. It really feels like they were terrified of making a 5-hour game, and sure, it probably would have been complained about if So what am I supposed to do with this guy?
Missile-based security compromised.
He's just hanging from the roof. Oh, he'll just keep walking if we just get far enough away. I believe we go down this way.
Insert guidance system to commence launch.
Yeah. So the monkey should jump down here and be in this area.
Insert guidance system to commence launch.
So there he goes.
Guidance system installed.
So that's the guidance
Missile is
system.
ready for launch.
A monkey is going to be flying a nuclear warhead missile.
Insert and turn launch keys.
That is not something that I hope anybody ever did.
Missile ready for launch.
But I know they definitely put
Insert
monkeys in
and turn
space
launch keys.
rockets, and there's kind of a mixture here between that idea and some other ideas.
Missile ready for launch.
Alright. So,
Launch key engaged.
we're all holding something.
Launch key engaged.
And there we
All
go.
systems go. Launch in T-minus 5, 4, 3. Booster harness decoupled. 1. Nuclear missile launch commenced. Estimated death toll is 100 million, with an error margin of 2 million. Please wash hands after launching missile.
They were kind of scientifically accurate there. They never say the number 4 because it can sound like the word fire during launches. Okay. So apparently we just started global nuclear war. I'm still not really sure why. And there's one left for the adventurer as far as a cave painting. There's 2 left for the scientists and 1 left for the twins, which does leave about 3. So it is believable
What we just witnessed may seem like
that we'll
horrific
get the
and
last
pointless
3
destruction. But if you step back and take in the big
in the
picture,
final puzzle.
you'll surely see that the lives of 100 million people pale in comparison to being able to spelunk a little further. What's done is done.
Yeah. This definitely feels like the least personal of the sections. And this fuse box didn't ever control this door. And I guess if you hadn't done this section, you would have jumped from a higher point. but otherwise you jump down here, and then that gets us to the monk. And again, we know that we can't enter this section without the monk. So we should be at the island, and if I'm trying to remember if there was any collectible up here, no, there wasn't. So we'll just fast travel them this direction. This door's open. It wouldn't be normally. A richer source. So I don't know if the story is going to get explained any better. So I don't think we needed this island puzzle. Particularly, I don't think we needed the Monkey Island reference. I don't think we needed the River Styx reference. It's kind of obvious this is supposed to be a purgatory analogy.
Hey, anyone know any sea shanties? 99
Is there
bottles
anything
of
we
beer
can
on
do
the
to skip
wall,
this part? Nope.
99 bottles of beer.
So we have to listen to the same dialogue. This would have been an interesting point for each of the characters to talk about what they did and confess their sins. Whether they want to confess it as whether they're guilty or feel guilty about it or not. It would be a great way to characterize these characters.
Shut up. After years on this blasted island, I can finally leave.
This almost certainly was a demo section.
Shut up. I'm going to go collect my stuff and get my beloved dog Spanky so we can skedaddle. Beloved dog. Shut up.
What it should do...
Well, from stuck in a cave to marooned on an island stuck in a cave, things aren't exactly looking up for our friends now, are they? No, they're not.
Instead of having us... why is there nothing in her hand? Did the adventurer lose her item? Apparently she did. We've still got the hot dogs. And we still got the can of corn. What they should have done is at the end of the game just have us do one item, and that would have been better. So one object of desire item from either the gold digger, the miner, not gold digger, or the zookeeper. There, the military's unlimited budget. So she built the missiles.
Only seats 3 people. Might I suggest to our 3 friends that they move the boat across the island very quietly?
Quietly.
Shut up!
Alright. Yeah. If we had only done in the first playthrough the miner, and then that would have been the one unique scenario in between the 3 character scenarios, and then in the second playthrough we only did the zoo, and that would have been the one unique scenario in between the 3 character scenarios. There's probably a lot of ways you could keep things fresh, just moving things around instead of making us do the miner, the zookeeper, and then the third one. I don't even remember what the third one was. I wasn't really planning on... there's the other can of corn, so you can get 2 cans of corn. I'm a little surprised that we don't get more things. Well, isn't that the adventurer's mark? Wait a minute. How are we gonna reach that? I may not be able to get to all of the adventure story. So, yeah. It really is the perfect solution. Have only one of those middle stories be played on the first playthrough, and then just make it clear that you won't see this section again for quite a while. Alright. I'm gonna put the box of crackers here. I'm gonna pick up the corn. I'm gonna put this character here. I'm going to take the kids this way. I'm gonna take the adventurer back this direction. And try our very best to... So 2 cans of corn and the steaming weenie seems to be what we're gonna get. And we may just not be able to get that. See, that's what's gonna be really weird here, is that if there's no way to get over there, maybe you can run that direction when you have the water pouring on it. That might be the case. Alright. There we go. And there we have a femur, which we need. And so that's the, like, 4th femur we'll have interacted with. I just want to move all of this kind of as quickly as possible, since we know the solutions. Still didn't really move fast enough, though. So, I don't know. Can I set a test here and see if we can finish the game in the next 10 minutes? Let's see, probably want to set that about there. Probably want to set that about right there. Grab the femur. And pull this back until it just lights magically from the heat. And then let it go. There we go. Great. Yeah, but unfortunately, as fast as you try... Wow, that rope climbing is a pretty awful animation also. You're really just not going to move fast enough. Forced to eat. So it seems like the kids poisoned themselves also. So they did not get away with it scot-free in the story. And attach that socket. You have to hold the water valve to fill it up. But the good news is, once they get the boat across those two sections, we only have the third section to go. And then after the third section, there really isn't anything else. So up here we go. Forced to Eat is the last thing on the twins story. I did look up a video, and you do get 2 pieces of art showing the bad ending, and in the same way that you get 2 pieces of art showing the good ending when you get the good ending. So if I'm going to be a completionist, I would have to just play the game like 3 extra times. And I definitely don't see a reason to do that on screen. And I probably don't see a reason to do it at all. It's pretty insane. Oh, by the way, the video did say if you press down, like, apparently the version on Steam is different than the version that once existed, because if you press down on the D-pad, you just make the little prompt at the lower left-hand side disappear. I don't know if you really need that. I don't think anything on the visuals or the display that would tell you that. Let's see. If we go down here, you can insta-kill with the left trigger or right trigger. Yeah, there's literally nothing on the controls even telling you about this, but it works. So that they obviously didn't want people to know that worked. Probably because it just adds confusion, and there's really no good reason to
King takes F7.
to play it that
When
way.
you get that boat of yours to the other side of the island, give me a shout, and I'll join you for the big rescue. Big rescue? Shut up. Shut up.
Let's see. And jump down this way. I'm probably playing as the worst characters possible, so I'm gonna choose to put the kids at the bottom and see if that will let me get that icon. There we go. Place that there. And that's all the pipes. You kind of don't need to see the bad endings, actually, because you're kind of already seeing the bad endings as you play the level. Like, the bad ending of the twins is that they succeed in killing their family with rat poison. The bad ending of the hillbilly is that he succeeds in burning the entire place to the ground. Must be another way over there. Maybe if we're over on this side, then we turn on the water valve. Then we can jump down that direction. There must be an ability point that I'm missing. It's not going to be the scientist, is it? So Oh, this is gonna take a little bit longer than I'd like it to. Like, the twins' ability doubles their weight and has them hold a thing, hold a lever, or hold a valve. Maybe there's a rope swing spot that I just don't see. Because it really couldn't be the scientist ability. Ah, there is just a rope swing spot there, and I totally missed it. Waiting for the right moment. So yeah, she killed her friends slash co-workers. Let's put the kids in the boat, then raise it up, and up we go.
I'm finally getting off this island. I think I've got everything I need. Shove off any time.
I knew he was going to be trouble. Right here in Island City. Trouble with a capital T, which rhymes with P, which stands for hermit. Okay, that didn't quite work. But he's still trouble. Trouble with a capital H, which stands for hermit. Ha! There, much better.
So yeah, we're gonna have to try and rush, and let's just wrap up this island because I'm not gonna be able to wrap up the whole game. Even if we really run, well, we could, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll give it maybe 5 more minutes. This is the typical video game player mentality. 5 more minutes, Mom. That's all I ask. And then 5 hours later, 5 more minutes.
Who's a good dog?
Right. So now all we need to do is switch to the scientist, who has the other can of corn, and pick up the femur and use the femur on Spanky. Come on, pick up the can of corn instead. And off she goes. Is that supposed to be part of the rocket in the background?
It's the holdup. I don't want to spend another day on this wretched.
Right, now, here's where it gets difficult. You gotta be careful to drop down here and not die. And that's a really weird drop because there's really not any other place where you have to do that. And then you have to climb down this ladder, which it lets you, but it doesn't let you climb down the other ladder on the other side, and you can't go left. You can only go right.
I forgot my dog. You wait here and I'll be back in a flash. Don't leave without us. Spanky gets his own seat, so someone will need to swim.
So we have
Too
2
bad
corns
this boat only has 3 seats.
and they're crackers.
One of you will have to stay behind.
Or a hot dog. We'll take the crackers.
I'm no lawyer, but maritime law clearly allows for the abandonment of a
No way to skip this either.
And really, The stranding of a lone hermit pales in comparison to what we've seen from these three so far. I do wonder if any lessons have been learned this evening. Maybe by you and me, but I fear not by them. Well, we shall see soon enough.
So yeah, if the first gameplay if was labeled something like Story A, and then there was a shown Story B and Story C, and the first gameplay only had the minor section, and then the second gameplay only had the zoo section, then that and then the third gameplay only had the Monkey Island section, which would have been a reference that people would have appreciated by the third gameplay instead of seeing it 3 times in a row. That would have worked, I think, a lot better.
Well, you took
Then you would have just had to find one item to replace these 3 items,
that doesn't matter.
which isn't a one-for-one trade, but I don't really see a reason why he couldn't have made you that offer.
Novelty-sized key again and open the employee's back entrance. I'm sure you'll find some treasures worthy of the cave's gift shop. We close at 5, so you might want to get a move on it.
It even kind of changes the exchange here and makes it kind of more of a philosophy question. Is there any better moral reason to steal one item that somebody else desires to get 3 items that other people desire? Because while you would still be committing a evil act, you would be helping 3 people at the expense of 1, and I could certainly see people justifying that. Seems like we got all the collectibles, so I don't think there'll be any other cave paintings. And then yeah, they're gonna have us run through this whole section, showing us that actually I believe that well was rebuilt, and the grog machine didn't have a grog in front of it. I don't think that there's anything around any of this, because there really can't be too much around any of this. That one's still broken. But wait a minute, that one wasn't broken. Or was it? I don't know. Things are getting moved around magically. Which is really weird, because actually nothing does get moved around in this game. All the locations are in the map the whole time. So I would have kind of appreciated had they intentionally moved some things around. I definitely would have appreciated seeing a shortcut through this part. We didn't need to see the tutorial section getting reconstructed, really. So the gold nugget again. So you kind of can tell that there's no way you would be able to beat the entirety of the game without doing those sections. Next we have the adventurer off to steal something, which should be the hunter's trophy, monster trophy. You could even offer each of these items. Well, no, I mean, if you were to have it where you only did one of those middle sections instead of 3 of those middle sections, it would be a lot easier. Like you would really just have to walk through some area, see this is under construction, and then have to go somewhere different for the other things. Yeah. This game really just loves to waste your time with all the walking around. And the fact that we give back the items we got to the guy at the souvenir shop does not really change the fact that almost certainly the souvenir shop guy is still withholding these items and not giving them back to the people who actually desired them. So the poor people that we rob right now are doomed to potentially forever not get their object of desire, which could be a good thing or a bad thing.
You've outdone yourself on this one.
So what are we gonna get?
Its rightful owner will miss it much. You earned it.
So we got a box of poison.
Are you sure you want to return that? I mean, you worked so hard to get it.
And we're just gonna get the...
Acquired that at great cost to those around you. You really should think this over.
We return this for the good
ending.
ending.
This back because you left the price tag on.
So now, the postcard is not here at the end. So if you're gonna, you're supposed to steal the postcard, and then take it with you, and then bring it back. So we're going out with our can of corn for the good ending of the twins. People don't really want to see the bad ending for the kids, I imagine, more than anything else. But this is gonna be a slow climb with that animation, come to think of it. And it did take about 10 minutes longer to do this all. But the good news is there's really no reason to let the credits play a second time. So they stopped them. Wait, don't eat it. Eat the soup. We're sorry. So, yeah. No big surprise there. That they were going to stop everybody from eating the soup, including their parents.
Oh, that is very nice.
Of course, the story could easily have just not eaten it themselves. And so now we have the sarcophagus or something like that. It's kind of small. It kind of looks like a hug pillow of a sarcophagus.
You really should think about keeping that. It came at great cost. I don't know who else would buy such a, particular item, but I'll take it back. The customer is always right.
And again, we'll see if we can grab the postcard. And we can't. So you really would have had to steal it at the beginning of the game, not at the end. And I imagine the ending here, which we can jump up a little bit before it stops allowing you to jump. Imagine the ending here is going to be very similar to the ending of the twins. She's just going to choose not to kill her companions and have a change of heart and then share the glory. Yeah. No big surprise there. Oops, and she left without the box of crackers, so there goes that idea. Let's see if we can leave at least with the 2 cans of corn.
What a fabulous replacement trinket. Oh,
And
that will do
clearly
just
the
fine.
scientist just wanted a bunch of money and was
Enjoy.
about the most I would say being money driven and working for the military and making nuclear missiles is probably the least moral thing and least moral character of
Are you sure
the
you
other
wanna return
compared
that?
to even the other
you worked
characters.
So hard to get it. You acquired that at great cost to those around you. You really should think this over.
Because when you think about like the paladin and the hillbilly, they're trying to seek out companionship, love. Same is true for every other character we've seen, but the scientist
Just because it's you, I'll take
just
it back.
wanted money. She didn't want any kind of accolades from her peers or appreciation there. The time traveler also wanted to be appreciated, and learned to stop being jealous. If the 7 characters here were supposed to represent like the 7 deadly sins, they've totally failed on that one also. Yeah, I don't see a single character here that really would fall under lust or gluttony. Like, so here she tears up the instructions. More important than money, a bright future for the world. Yeah. So yeah, can you go back down? That'd be funny. How far down can you go? Like, nope, I'm actually not going to leave the cave. I'm just gonna stay in the cave. I wonder if this will go on forever, or maybe get some kind of Easter egg line of dialogue. So the door's locked. Alright, well, at least we learned something there. We'll jump up as high as we can and then climb up. Yeah, almost certainly at some point in the design they thought about having each character represent the 7 deadly sins. But it kind of doesn't work. We'll look at the characters and see if maybe we could put a loose concept. I don't even know if I can actually name the 7 deadly sins accurately. So up the hatch we go, and over here we have a shoddy barricade, and over here we have nothing.
Well, this brings our exciting journey to an end this evening.
It seems a little
I hope you had
glitched.
as much fun as I did. The important thing to remember is there are no refunds in the cave. No price can be put on the lessons learnt down here. We carry
Maybe
them
it's
throughout
glitched
our
because I'm
lives
holding the
and
item.
hopefully find ourselves on a new and better path. I say we, of course, but I mean you. After all, I'm just a talking cave.
It's the same story ending. We probably needed a new intro and a new outro in the game. That would have been fairly easy to rewrite. And then, yeah.
Welcome. Don't let my
Can
soul
we skip this?
a mysterious voice.
No. And the only person we have left is the monk, so we just have to kind of pick who we would want to replace. The hillbilly could be Rage. The scientist could be boastfulness, pride, yeah. The time traveler is clearly jealousy. The knight is dishonesty, maybe lust. I guess that could be it. But then the twins, what 7 deadly sin would you put on them other than maybe gluttony was gonna be them? I mean, they're not fat by any means, as they're depicted. But yeah, that probably would have been the one that you were gonna do. What we want to do in the last playthrough is get the bad ending on a couple of characters. Greed, obviously, the adventurer, and the monk, again, maybe pride. So, yeah, I'm missing one of the 7 deadly sins, though. Obviously, there's 7 characters. So, and I very well may have named some things there that weren't actually 7 deadly sins, but yeah, that clearly was a part of the idea here. And in all honesty, I don't want to go too long here since we're almost 30 minutes over. When writers think they're smarter than they actually are, they often go to the same old cliched ideas over and over again. So if you're seeing the 7 deadly sins brought in, if you're seeing Dante's Inferno brought in as a reference, which is very somewhat what this story is, although not by much. If you're seeing Purgatory and just biblical references and not really saying anything new or interesting with those biblical references, that's a sign of a writer overreaching. And when you combine that with the fact that there's very little characterization and very little lines of dialogue written for this game in the first place, it really feels rather slapdash. There are a few excusable uses of things like the 7 deadly sins. You can't use it. You can use it, of course. I feel like it was used somewhat well with the Full Metal Alchemist series because it was basically a reference to the mindset of the creators of the characters that the 7 deadly sins are named after. But then if you were to look at the animated 7 deadly sins, which is actually the name of the title, there are very unique characters in that really don't have anything to do with the concept of the 7 deadly sins. And it's just a kind of Japanese infatuation with the idea, thinking they're being kind of edgy. So I'm glad they didn't go too heavy on that, but clearly it was an influence. And I really wish a lot of video game writers would read more, and I really wish there was a lot more out there to read that was more unique and more different. Particularly if Western video game writers, and Western writers in particular, read outside of their cultural circle. So if they're going towards ancient Middle Eastern Bloc stories, Slovakian stories, things that have barely even been translated to English, that they will get different ideas that don't just all come from the same place. Because a lot of Western culture really comes from that Judeo-Christian mentality, and it heavily influences a lot of fiction, which is kind of a problem. And we'll probably see some of that in the monk level when we get around to that, because the monk level probably will be about 90% stereotype and maybe 10% interesting information there, or at least an interesting twist on it. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. We've got one more playthrough to go through, and then that's going to be it for this series. It really does not make sense to stretch us out and play it 3 more times. And when I first played the game, I'm not even sure I played it 3 times. I'm not sure I got all the good endings. I'm not sure I even knew about the good endings. I could definitely imagine that I just played the game, got bad endings, and said, okay, well then this was just a really long Twilight Zone episode, effectively. That's kind of what they're trying to do here. Yeah, but that would have been rather disappointing if after playing the first playthrough, 3 characters get 3 bad endings and you're not given any indication that there even are good endings. That would really suck, and that would probably have convinced a lot of people to not bother to go through a second playthrough or third playthrough. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.